number of federal government ministers have reportedly now shifted their allegiance to Kevin Rudd. The front page of the Australian newspaper reports 6 ministers have abandoned their allegiance to Julia Gillard. The paper says while none are openly advocating an immediate leadership change to Mr Rudd, if there was a leadership spill, they would vote for the Foreign Minister. One of the ministers included in that report is the new Minister for Emergency Management, Housing and Homelessness, Robert McClelland. And Mr McClelland joins us from our Sydney CBD studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kieran.
I want to start with that report. As I said, you're included in that group of ministers that apparently have shifted their allegiance to Mr Rudd. If there was a spill, would you vote for Julia Gillard?
Oh, Julia Gillard has my full support, and I've seen that speculation. It's simply speculation. Julia Gillard has my full support. She's got a new ministry, and they're all very keen, of course, to get on with their new jobs.
One could understand if your support for the Prime Minister has waned a bit, given your demotion in the reshuffle.
I've said publicly that clearly I would have preferred to have held on to my portfolio as Attorney General, but having said that, I've now had briefings in the new areas of work, which is really important work, and of course it's always a great honour to serve the Australian people in a new portfolio, and I'm grabbing that with the utmost energy.
Apparently, among other things, the Prime Minister's treatment of you has fanned dissent within Labor ranks. That's according to that report we referred to earlier. Do you feel dudded? Do you feel like you were dudded in this?
I don't feel like I was dudded. I mean, I suppose I've been in the caucus for 16 years, and you tend to develop a number of people, a number of close friendships over that time, and clearly, aside from focusing on the job of government, clearly you receive calls from a number of friends simply in the course of things, discussing matters with you and asking how you're going, but that's the part of, fortunately, some camaraderie that still exists in political life.
You you refused to go, apparently. The Prime Minister wanted to demote you out of Cabinet altogether, but you stood firm.
The Prime Minister indicated to me that she wanted me to change portfolios from the Attorney General's portfolio, and again I've said, and certainly it was the case, that I indicated my clear preference was to remain with the work I was doing, but again, having said that, in terms of safe hands, Nicola Roxon is a terrific lawyer and very, very enthusiastic person, and she'll do an outstanding job.
But you stood firm on the Cabinet position. You weren't going to leave that.
Well, again, these discussions didn't come into it. There was a discussion of changing portfolios.
Okay. Now, so you didn't say to her that you wanted to remain in Cabinet and refuse to go, because that was the suggestion made around this?
Clearly, I indicated that I thought the work I had done justified a Cabinet level position. I mean, without going into the details of discussions, clearly I had made that opinion known.
Do you think that diminishes the Prime Minister's authority at all, that she had to expand the Cabinet to 22 because she was unable to make the decisions or implement the decisions that she'd made?
Oh, not at all. No, I mean, she made the decisions. The Prime Minister, under amended caucus rules, determines the size of Cabinet and who is in Cabinet, and she has done precisely that.
But not entirely, because in this instance you stood firm with the backing of the right faction in New South Wales, so she wasn't able to make that decision.
Oh, well, again, we had discussions. I've seen reports of other matters, but again, you have the discussion and you have frank discussions, and the outcome is as the Prime Minister has called it.
You smiled and were joking at the swearing-in yesterday, able to put on a brave face. It didn't seem Kim Carr was that happy, though.
Kim's a very close friend of mine, and Kim has done some really excellent work, and clearly I think his support and passion for manufacturing over the years has been recognised, and also his work with the scientific and academic community had earned tremendous respect. And again, I can imagine losing that period of work. There's an element of grieving when someone's so committed to the work they've been doing. I think that's a natural human emotion, but again, he's tough, he's resilient, and a good bloke, and he'll get on with his new work with zeal.
What about your new portfolio? Hasn't that just been cobbled together? Emergency services and housing thrown together?
No, I don't think so. I mean, emergency services is particularly important. It's a natural part of our way of life in Australia, but each year we pay in the order of about $2.7 billion worth of taxpayers' funds. Last season, about $5.6 billion of taxpayer funds mopping up. So we think if the Commonwealth's in that position, as well, of course, as preventing loss of life, that we've got to get in there and with a more focused coordination role. And in terms of housing, I mean, aside from putting a salary in someone's pocket, putting a roof over their family's head is their second greatest priority. So a lot of work to be done in that area as well. I think just the briefing I had yesterday, there's about $18 billion worth of housing projects that the Commonwealth is involved in. So it's a very, very big management task, and I'm looking forward to it. And the public servants I've met, they're really enthusiastic and doing a great job, and I'll see what I can do to value add to the tremendous work that they're already doing.
Isn't emergency services, though, traditionally a state portfolio area? Why is this needed here federally?
The emergency responders, no doubt about that, are state-based. But if we want to make our community resilient, as we need to do, we need to look at the combined resources, getting our warning systems right, Bureau of Meteorology warnings, for instance. We need to get our aerial firefighting arrangements, which are Commonwealth-led, right. And most importantly, we need to get our planning decisions right. In many ways, taxpayers today are paying so much money for natural disaster recovery because of poor planning decisions made by the White Shoe Brigade in the past, and those aligned to them. We need to have a sensible planning framework based on proper mapping, based on appropriate building codes, and after an event we need to take measures to mitigate against that event occurring in the future, rather than this simply round robin of expenditure that we incur each and every disaster season. So there's much to be done, much to be done in that area at a federal level as well.
Well, no one can accuse you of wallowing in your disappointment. Yesterday you had a news release out. I think it was 20 minutes after you were sworn in, so straight into the new job. All the best with it, and have a good Christmas if we don't see you, Robert McClelland. Thanks for that.
No, thanks, and you too, Kieran. Have a great Christmas. Thank you.